Hello everyone, Mr. Scholar here, and it's day 7 of Festive uploads, so this makes it Doctor Who Series 6 Episode X or 0, if you're American. A Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol! If you've seen the episode, you understand why I said it like that there. So the plot is basically Amy and Rory have have been married on the last episode of The Big Bang. Yeah, and they're on a honeymoon suite on a space cruise liner? I think they say. Cruise liner. Yeah. But they need to land. Somehow the engines are failing on a ship. And the clouds are stopping. The clouds are too heavy and the fog is too heavy or something like that. Like the ship can't physically see where it's going. So it must be like that. And so if the ship is going to land on this planet, I don't know if they actually say the name of the planet, but yeah, they'd probably crash and most likely die. And it's 4,003 people. They stress on that very heavily. Yeah. And basically, Amy and Rory hoping that the Doctor has got an idea of what to do. And yeah, he goes down to this place, the Sardic town. And this is in the 4398, so that's the late 44th century. I'm trying to think what century that means it is. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and the Doctor basically he's trying to find he doesn't know how the controls work for the clouds or the fog or whatever you want to call it, and he's got to find a way to control it. And he meets a person that is in control of Kazan Sardic, played by Michael Gambon, who is Dumbledore from Azkaban onwards. I know he wasn't in the first one. I don't remember I don't think it was in the second one either. I think it was 3 onwards. He was Dumbledore, and yeah, and there's his family there, and they want the mother's sister, so the Chopins, to meet, have them for just one day, and this is Christmas Eve. Yeah, so what they want is that, and then the Doctor just comes out because it's a big mansion he's in, sort of in this big chimney, and the smoke, like debris comes out first, and then a ball of flame for a second, and then the Doctor comes out, dusts himself down. I'm not saying that, it's not important to the plot. Yeah, basically the Doctor says this person is important and they're wanting that out, and yeah. Then the Doctor stands up against Kazan Sardic. Not many people do that, as the guy says later on. Yeah. So, and the Doctor, yeah, he tries to when Kazan almost hits the boy, but then something stops him. We don't know what it is. But then we find out later on it's actually not so long after, because the Doctor finds out because of the way the furniture is situated. Yeah, his dad abused him as a child. He slapped him in that, and he didn't like that. Didn't want to be like his dad. Yeah, basically, what the Doctor does is he goes. He doesn't know what to do. The only thing he can't think of is after he's had that interaction with that parent of the children, after they've left their Sardic's mansion. Yeah. And Amy's contacting the Doctor and it's fish, and then Amy doesn't know what the Doctor's saying because he's singing, and then the Doctor says, "A Christmas Carol, Christmas Carol," sort of like that, "A Christmas Carol," a few times, and then he's got an idea. So like, yes, just like the book, like he's met Charles Dickens in The Unquiet Dead, which I actually did think originally about doing a video for it, but I'm thinking like, no. Yeah, that is sort of a pseudo special, or pseudo Christmas episode. It's a Christmas episode, not Christmas special, because it's set on Christmas Eve, 1869. I did think about watching that, but I didn't. Yeah, so what the Doctor does is he goes back to Slardic's mansion in the present day, so 4398, I think, because he says Daddy was dead 20 years, and the thing says 4378. It could be approximating, but it can't be more than 20. It's got to be less than 25 years. So yeah, what he does is he puts up a projector of, and this is a video that Cousin Sardic made when he was 12 and a half. Yeah, what the Doctor does is he goes back in time and tries and changes the life of Cousin Sardic from when he was younger. And yeah, the woman who was in the ice box, I should have mentioned she was in the ice box. She was in suspended animation. She had 9 days left. Yeah, and the Doctor tried to make Cousin a nicer person. And he was interested in Abigail when he was younger. Younger. And he's, yeah, because he's basically rewriting. This is the timeline where the Doctor and Cousin as the cop there. The thing is, I'm not doing it straight, because Cousin Sardic can still remember his own original life, because he still says later on in the episode, the life, the one the Doctor rewrote, they call me heartless. So he can still remember his original life. It's not like he can only remember this new life that the Doctor created, because this is happening. There's one weird thing I've not understood is like, Kazan remembers things before we see it, and I'm thinking the way we're seeing it is when it's actually happening, like parallel. So technically he should only remember the things after they've been created, but he somehow remembers them before the memories were created, if you know what I mean. Which is odd. I think that's one niggle I'll have about this episode. Yeah, so basically, yeah. And they don't, yeah, because young Kazan has never seen a fish, but then a shark ends up in his bedroom, and he bites half of the Doctor's Sonic. Yeah. And what they use Abigail's icebox to take her out of the icebox, and then put the shark up into the cloud so it can survive, because it can't really survive long out of the fog clouds at the top of the in the sky. Yeah, and then they basically do every single year. They do one Christmas Eve every year, where they go out on an adventure or something, and then one of them, there's only really two of importance here. The one where they go to Abigail's family's Christmas Eve, and they have dinner there. It basically just shows like why Kazran, at least in the younger years, wasn't like he is now, more like his dad. And then there's the other one where they're in California 1952. The Doctor's about to be married to Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, and Abigail's told Kazran what we don't act initially here, but we find out during the course of the episode. Yeah, that she's unwell, and Stasis helps her, but she's only got a couple more. I think there's only about 2 days left at that point. Or is that just one last day? So yeah, that's enough. I think that was like her second. That was on. So after that day, she had one more. They said they want to hold it off. But, yeah, and then basically he ages a few years, and he's becoming more like his dad, which is not what the Doctor wanted. And then go to present day. Yeah, he's looking at all the pictures. He's looked at all the pictures that he has now, which he didn't have before. Yeah, but then a hologram of Amy comes, and then a hologram of Amy takes him down to the room where the ice boxes are, and just holograms of all the people on the ship who he's gonna let kill. So yeah. That's meant to be, the Doctor should have said the Doctor is the ghost of Christmas past. Amy's ghost of Christmas present, because that's the point I made about Captain. There wasn't much to say about Amy. There's nothing to say about Amy, there's one thing to say about Amy in this episode. once had this sort of sideline role in the first episode where his name is in the title credits. That sequence, sorry. So yeah, there. Yeah, and then the hologram. They make him a hologram and show him what's actually going on. Like the ship is in danger, and then the captain of the ship is telling him, "No, you can't do this, man. Seriously, it's messed up if you think you won't get away with this, and you'll have a guilty conscience." And then not much else happens in the episode apart from the Doctor being the ghost of Christmas yet to come. When people say Christmas future, the actual words in the original novel, ghost of Christmas yet to come. But the Doctor says ghost of Christmas future, I think. No, I don't know actually. Oh God. Wait, yeah. And if you know the traditional story, you think, right, he's going to show him his death. He's going to die cold, old and alone. Which is what they show Scrooge in the original works. But this, the Doctor says, no, I'm showing you your future right now. I'm showing it to you. He's talking to Kazran, but it's not the Kazran. It's the young Kazran, actually from the first Christmas Eve, because he's wearing the exact same clothes. Yeah, and he's showing him his future self. And he's about to slap him like his father would have done to him, and then his younger self thinks that is his dad, but older. But then he stops himself again, showing that he does care. And especially about Abigail. So what they do, he's changed him, and then that's basically, it's basically just a resolution now. Oh God, I'm rambling on a bit. 12 minutes already. Well, it's going to be a long episode. Review, sorry. The resolution is that then try out works on the machine. It doesn't work with the Doctor or Kazran because it should work for one of them. Because of what his father tried to make him like, it wouldn't recognise him because of all the emotions that he has. He wouldn't have had when he was, let's say, looked like he was at least 17 or in his early 20s. So when he was first allowed to use the machine. But the doesn't work with the Doctor either. It's because he's changed him too much, and they don't know what to do. And they decide to let Abigail out because they know that her singing perfectly resonates with the ice crystals, so the ship can be landed down to land perfectly, or land well. So what they do is they let her out of the ice box, and they something's on my back. Oh God, taking a while. What they do, they go out into the town. The Doctor wires up the second one of the hats that's on the screwdriver, and then the shark is trying to signal the other half of the shark, so it can resonate the ice crystals perfectly to the right frequency, so that the clouds and the fog can move apart so that the plane can land. That happens. That's basically the plot. That is the plot of the episode. Thanks, almost 15 minutes. Counters the Doctor. He's trying to save everyone on the ship, so he befriends Kazran as a child so that he can make the ship land in the present day. Wasn't originally going to do every Christmas, because he said, like, if I'm ever in the neighbourhood, and then Kazran he visits every Christmas Eve. But because of young Kazran, he wants him to become a better person. He made the promise, this is what would help. And when he thinks he's failed when he's in his early 20s or whatever, he goes out and he's failed by then because Kazran almost picks up in his 20s almost picks up almost activates it. He does pick it up, and the Doctor comes running, but it doesn't work. No. I think if the Doctor wasn't there before he activated it, it might have worked. Yeah. He builds that last up in his older age, in Michael Gambon age. He builds that last up by showing him young Kazran his future, So he'll realise that in fact he can change. Castle started a grumpy old man originally, and he hates Christmas, surprised at the Doctor for being able to stand up against him, because no one else has ever done that before. When the Doctor works out the arrangement of the furniture and how it works, and Castle knows he's clever, and the Doctor doesn't want to be. And the Doctor knows that he doesn't want to be like his dad. Annoyed that the Doctor changed his life initially, like he was originally saying, "No, this is my life. I'm entitled to my life." But remembers Abigail. Like if it was literally anyone else, I don't think he would have been more hastily angered towards Doctor. Yeah, but he just remembers Abigail and all the good times they had together. The plan initially works out in his younger age when he's like 12 and a half, maybe like 15 or so. But fails during his young adulthood. Doesn't want Abigail to die. Yeah, that's what they were discussing at the Marilyn Monroe Christmas Eve 1952. She only has one day left, and she was ill. They don't say what she was ill of, they just say she was ill. But comes to terms with it, as he tells him, because but he still doesn't want this to go. And when his younger self encounters his older self, his older self realises this is not who he is. He's been playing a charade since he was a kid. Since his Elliot Sardic showed him the machine, like onwards at least. He's pretending to be someone who he isn't. In this new timeline, Abigail Pettigrew, dying of an illness, but has the icebox to keep her in stasis, which helps the thing, enjoys the fish and singing to them. That's why they initially pick her. I don't know if I said that. The Amazon says, "Oh, she loves the fish. Yeah, we can use her to help the shark to help it go up." Yeah, and she does the singing in the end. Loves Kazran as she knows that he's very different from who he is in his present, in his original timeline picture of his father. You'd expect him to be entitled in that, but he's a nice, loving, caring guy. And she wants to be happy with her family, but knows she can't have it because of her illness. Saddened that Kazran has been keeping that last day that they could have, holding it off for decades, and he doesn't want to see her inevitable death. She's the only person who truly connects with him. I think it's like they never show this on screen, they never show the aftermath. Okay, she must die exactly a day after, 24 hours exactly after she came out of the icebox. So I hope in the 24 hours she got to meet her family one last time. I think, yeah. And then Amy shows Kazran what it is like to be on the verge of death, and that the singing is like hope, is a message of hope to everyone, that everyone wants to succeed, but they don't want to die like this. A natural death, fair enough, but they don't want to die in a crash. That's inhumane. And they want to be alive and have each other. That's all they want. That's all the people on the ship want this Christmas. That shows that it's resembling her Ghost of Christmas Present persona. And she was in this episode, which was really good. I really wish they had used Rory in a better aspect. I think, like I said, this was the first episode where his name was in the title credits. Like, he'd been in other episodes before. Honestly, he had more involvement in the Big Bang than in this episode. But he wasn't even in the title credits. So that is, yeah, I think that's one of the two annoyances for me. This is the major one. That's the major one, I think. Because they had the Doctor as a Ghost of Christmas Past, and they had Amy as a Ghost of Christmas Present. It would have been nice of Rory to have been the Ghost of Christmas yet to come, or future, whatever, or something, or one of the other ghosts. They could have just ghosts around. think that was slightly annoying. Like his name is now a start sequence. It's like, okay, yeah, cool. Well, he's going to be doing a lot of stuff now. But no, I think even this part I hated. Well, not hated, but I didn't like. And it was near the beginning. It was like, like, do you have a plan? Amy asked the doctor, do you have a plan on a big sort of phone thing? He says yes. And he's like, yes. And then when I asks Amy, what's he like? And Amy says no. It's like, honestly, why the heck would you do that? At the last episode, you were just married. You shouldn't be lying to him about that. You meant to be caring about each other. Honestly, I don't think Amy cared. I think in that moment, Amy just brought back to a scene about this vibe. There was two places in his life which were totally on flesh and stone, and then the end scene, we're trying to maul herself onto the doctor, and that the attempted kiss of her to him in the Big Bang. I think she was better in Series 6 and 7, first half of Series 7. But yeah, I didn't like that part. I can sort of glide by it, but I'm not a big fan of it. But I'm not liking how Roy was treated in this episode. Yeah, now weird now to think is that Kazan remembers the new memories that were created before they were created, unless that thing is like on a delay, where it's like 30 seconds delayed. So it's starting like 30 seconds before he remembers it. Because the initial thing that we see is true. It originally happened. It wasn't until the doctor showed up in the background that happened. Yeah. So I want to rank this episode. I'd rank this episode. I'm either stuck between a 9 or a 10 out of 10. I think this is. I'm going to say this. I think this is the most clever Christmas special. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's definitely the most clever, because it used a well-known Christmas story. Everybody knows, unless you literally have to be like 5 or younger to not know a Christmas Carol, because even like 6, you've probably seen the Muppets version at some point, so you probably understand the plot to a bare chest. No, but they took an amazing book, an amazing book or novel, I don't know why actually it's officially classed as A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, and then they reinvigorated it into a new better life with a sci-fi concept of time. Like the show is all about time and space travel, so they used the time travel element in it to make a new version of it, of having the main elements still there, like this old man who hates Christmas and that he doesn't want to change, and he's fine with it, and he doesn't really care about money. He cares a little bit, but it's not that part isn't heavily touched upon. Yeah, but it's showing about making him a better person, like trying to make Scrooge a better person. And I think that's probably, and they use the time travel, and especially the subversion part with you'd expect we see Kazran on his last breath, but they show him his younger self, showing his future self. The Doctor showing his younger self to his future self, which is amazing. Like you maybe would expect it initially, but you're thinking, nah, they're going to show us how it played out in the original book, but no. Yeah, like they did Steven Moffat tried to do this in the next Christmas special, but it didn't really land that well. So that's. I just need to give my ranking. What would I give that a 9? I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Like, okay, the two minor things, like that line from the beginning that Amy says to Rory, and the memories thing, like that's not enough to justify taking down 1 point. But because of Rory not doing much, not being written much in this episode, I'm gonna have to give it a 9 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of Series 6 episode X or 0 if you're American, A Christmas Carol. Enjoy your Christmas Day. Christmas Day review. That one's gonna be earlier on in the day. Of The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe, Series 7 episode X on 0 if you're episode X on 0 if you're American. So I think that's all, and adios, Mr. Scarlo out.